Be excited. And look, everything's coalescing. We've talked about the 1954, 68, 82, 96, 2010, 2024 is when the truth net, right? We go from the internet, mobile net, truth net, where we replace trust with truth. We go from the Knights Templar inventing banking, the Medicis, to Bitcoin and blockchains being a better solution. That all happens in 2024. And now we've got this approval process potentially in 2024. We've got the halving in 2024. It could be such a big one. I mean, could be a 1492.
The acceptance of and price movement for digital assets are expected to grow exponentially over the next 12 months. According to Mark Yusko, thus now is the moment to be enthusiastic and positive on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. If you are unfamiliar with Mark, he is a well-known American investor and the founder/chief investment officer of Morgan Creek Capital Management. Mark is well known for being optimistic about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. But in its most recent interview, Yusko explained why the combination of BlackRock's inevitable future filing of a Bitcoin ETF with the SEC and the halving of Bitcoin in 2024 leads to a period like no other to be positive on cryptocurrencies. According to Yusko, the SEC's approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF will be a turning point for the entire industry, ushering in a flood of new institutional capital. Keep watching to the very end of the movie, when Yusko explains why this phase of the cycle is a you shouldn't be bullish at a time when we are setting new records, and everyone is once again interested in cryptocurrencies. This is Mark Yusko's outlook.
And the biggest biggest positive is that there's so little free float, right? There's so much of Bitcoin that is lost, stolen, hodled, immovable. And so the amount that turns over every day is a relatively small percentage of the total. And now, I think that dynamic changes as the price rises, right? When the price goes parabolic, as I believe it will in this next cycle, as it does in every cycle, as emotion and momentum and FOMO kick in around the halving. And, there's all the discussion this past week, because I've been completely out of touch, but mostly out of touch. I did see one story about predictions that, the big move comes after the halving. True, right?
True.
The period leading up to the halving is volatile with an upward glide, but it's not the parabolic. The parabolic is after the halving, where the price has to adjust because of the mining rewards. And there's some discussion, the mining rewards might not have to change as much because now there are fees because of ordinals and things. It's reasonable. I still think it's going to go parabolic. And when BlackRock gets approved, that's a big demand driver. And I think the parabolic move this time will be. Now, I'm not saying $1 million but it's funny. I guess Tim Draper is getting grief this week about his 250K prediction that it's not going to happen before the end of the year. He's like, yeah, so I missed it. I mean, timing's hard. And so someone pulled up, and I guess mine is next year in 2020, like by the end of 2024. I could see that happening. I'm not guaranteeing anything, and I'm not. But my logic for that was kind of halfway to gold equivalence. That was 5 years out of what I thought would take 10 years. And so I still think that's definitely possible. And if you think about, we've talked about this, each halving is added to zero. So we went from 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000. This is the 100,000 halving. And you always get a surge above that. Previous surges have been roughly 2x, the fair value. And Tim, our buddy Tim Peterson, who I love, released a model right before I left, which seems like 100 years ago because it's just been glorious, that he said was 55K. So we're way below fair value. Remember when he was on 6 months ago, 7 months ago, whenever that was, basically activity had collapsed, and his model, which I love, it's really good, had gotten all the way down to like high 20s, low 30s for fair value. And so he said, we're kind of fair value-ish. And everybody's like, no, that's not right. And I go, when nobody's agreeing with you, when no one agrees with you, that's when you press the pedal to the metal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because that's when you're usually right. When everybody agrees with you, throw cold water, right? Go take a shower and cool down, because it's already in the price. In fact, it's probably above the price. And so definitely this is the time to be excited. And look, everything's coalescing. And so I've been literally immersed in history for 2 weeks. And there are these inflection points where things happen. And if one happened or two happened, we wouldn't read about it. But when all 3 or 4 things happen together, it's like Ferdinand and Isabella, and Christopher Columbus, and the mistake, and I love this, right? She invented venture capital, right? She took 20% carried interest of his find, so she was a venture capitalist. And you think about these times in history, and the thing I didn't realize, this is very cool. 1492, Christopher goes over, and did you know that the horse is not native to North and South America?
What?
The horse is not native, and the tomato and the potato are not native to Europe. They're not from Italy. The potato's not from Ireland. They're from South America. The horse is from here. And the ships carried the horses, and they carried back the potatoes and the tomatoes. And you think about Seville, Spain, was the center of the universe between the old world, Europe, and this new, hadn't been even discovered world, the Americas. I mean, the mind literally explodes. Cows, sheep, pigs, goats, none of them not native to America. So our image of the Native Americans riding horses, nope, not until the Spaniards brought them, and the Portuguese. So I think what's happening now is this coalescing. We've talked about the 1954, 68, 82, 96, 2010, 2024 is when the truth net, right? We go from the internet, mobile net, truth net, where we replace trust with truth. We go from the Knights Templar inventing banking, the Medicis, to Bitcoin and blockchains being a better solution. That all happens in 2024. And now we've got this approval process potentially in 2024. We've got the halving in 2024. It could be such a big one. I mean, could be a 1492.
So there's Mark Yusko, who has a very bullish outlook on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market as a whole. With BlackRock's prospective ETF proposal and the predicted Bitcoin price halving in 2024, we might be in for a period of unparalleled frenzy for digital assets. Yusko's observations serve as a reminder that now, more than ever, is the ideal moment to make prudent investments rather than waiting until the market is at its height and overrun with unexpected interest. Thank you for viewing, and pay great attention to those charts. I'll see you all in the following video.